We're going to go see that. Okay, right.
Galio
Magic damage top laner, double AP solo laners, Galio top, BB special. Makes a lot of sense. And it's another global. Oh my god, literally everyone could fly it. I love it. G2, one person pings a side lane, everyone turns up the party. There's a lot of interesting conversations about whether you should trade Grubs for Dragon, which side is the best right now. I think in week 1, Rogue found that them getting Grubs wasn't working. They went towards stacking Dragons. That hasn't completely been clean for them either, but it has been slightly more successful.
A minute 30-ish to go.
Might have an angle onto him here.
Might indeed, because Caps has no flash. Permafrost with Larson able to hit and free hit would be good, but Skumont in the way. This turns into a 2v2 where for Skumont, as he's flashed on by Malrung, he still has the damage. Malrung looks too ambitiously and stares death in the eye. Skumont with first blood as Adam made the roam up and gets one for himself. The hero of Rogue. Who's the one in Marble who can... Who's got super speed? Like, who's...
Quicksilver, I guess.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is the Flash not Marble?
No, that's the other one.
Oh, no. The other one. We don't even say DC. No. They don't have a game. They probably did, but we just didn't play it.
Yeah, they had a movie about Flash, and it was... that's like the fail Flash over the wall. That's how I'll describe it.
Oh, good. No, Grub's going to go up with the Talia, and I think this is one of the few lanes we've seen where Talia's not coming out at 15 minutes with the lead.
Especially in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
In Europe, I think...
It's going to be taken up by G2's top laner while Rogue are focusing on the Herald for now.
Vision.
Caps is indeed. He gets shuffled back and caught out. Caps.
Why the kill going over towards Rogue? BB's getting a lot of value.
It really is. And again, I mean, this Galio, when you have double AP solo laner, the value is only going to be immense. Rogue going to get some gold themselves. It's going to be shared, but at the very least, turret goes down. And that equals up the gold somewhat. But remember, G2 are going to be Dragon stacking here in this game after the Cloud. 2 more to go versus this Herald to see if Rogue can get any more pressure and open up the map a bit.
I have to say, that last series of play where Caps is caught, kind of surprised G2 didn't respect. Rogue having some decent vision control, getting those picks earlier, losing bot lane turret once they teleported away from it, losing top lane turret now, that gold goes over to Caps. G2 slowly opening up the map, and now you don't have this R2. Not starting the fight just yet. Herald summon in mid lane, looking to break open the map. Of course, Rogue no real pressure in this mid lane just yet.
There's no synergy with this play, actually. Skumont's caught out, but he buys some time, gets a stun down. The hero's entrance is good, and I was going to say that, but Skumont survived so much longer than I thought. Rogue couldn't get the damage committed, and they're probably just not at the point yet. Larson sped up by the Auroras. LeBron sets up with the quickness and the all-in. It's perfectly done. Skumont again just refuses to save. Die! Broken Blade has to flash out in the end, but he's okay. A permafrost followed by Rogue's Malrung, but G2 have won the play, and they've won it off the back of singular members.
Wonderful engage there from G2. That's going to stop any kind of gain that happened with that Herald there. In fact, Rogue are going to lose their own mid lane turret, and G2 now have every single dragon down.
Well, Skumont is going to face check this. Going for a 50-50 is like where we start. XQ tries to get in the way, but G2 do not. They leave it as 2 for 2 dragons in the game, as G2 also have the inside track towards mid. Adam trying to get there first, but Rogue are all spotted out. Moving through Tri-Brush on a ward.
Ezreal trying to clear out a bit of that mid wave. G2 do have a lot of tools still to start fights. They can Pantheon ult if they really find someone on vision. You got the Talia ult as well. When you leave an objective like that as Dragon,
closer.
Broken Blade on the flank will be spotted. Oh, here comes Pantheon.
He just rolls on in onto Adam, onto Larson. Who do you want? He finds a mid laner, and with the hero's entrance as well, Broken Blade zones out the whole fight. XQ doesn't get a chance. Shield of Durand, a false turret behind them, but gives no inspiration to Patrick. He drops like a fly as Lebrov is the opposite answer. 2 for 1, bot laners get it hard.
Oh, it's a superhero landing from Skumont, really helped out by the Galio, splits the team fight wonderfully, and Rogue can't contest this out to Khan now. Larson would have to teleport back in, but he hasn't managed to recall in time. Broken Blade holding the door shut. G2, good objective.
I mean, Broken Blade won't die to these two. It'll take a long time. He just punches away. Good zoning from Caps in the meantime as well. Skumont's low, but they don't know that yet. Rogue are unaware, and with Tri-Brush control just lost as well. Skumont, okay, now they spot him out, but the smite's going to come down, and GA acquired. G2 with another big back play.
I love this guy that punishes you for not having information.
Very true.
G2, very clean game, and here come the ultimates.
Yeah, Larson, who was once killing, is now going to be thrilling because he's up against a turret with no hope. The full dive comes online, and this is what G2's comp was built for. You say Ed2. I say G2 are still cleaning house.
Clean use of the ultimates, G2. Punish Rogue for sending people to too many different parts of the map. Larson had no backup. And of course they have the Atacant to make sure it's extra super safe as well. Malrung's even trying to split push in the mid lane, because what else can he do? He can maybe head over towards the Baron, but without the Azir, you can't really fight. You're looking for a steal at best.
Broken Blade's going to zone. Malrung gets nowhere near it. That level 13. It's a level and a half down, and you just see how hard it is for Jungle to play the game. Shield is around, it's going to be a one, only one, but for Broken Blade at half HP, he's taken next to no damage. He's bought time, execute with the depth charge, but Baron now down. Remember, they still have GA for a little bit, and it's going to be used out. One GA down, 200 gold for the cost.
Maybe Patrick can get the mid lane turret, but it feels like it is a very, very slim silver lining. G2,
Still G2 running home, even though G2 are a top 2 team.
Hey, let's see if they can get into 37 minutes again. They do get themselves G2, the extra chem tech.
Of this conversation.
I thought it was going to be Sejuani meant to be on the other side.
Sejuani is Pumba, for sure. I don't know what Execute is. Wrong game, wrong movie franchise, just doesn't belong there. Dead for a third time in this game as Bot Turret is going to open up with that pick as well. And here's a Pantheon ult rolling through. Skewmon going to zone off and make sure Piggy goes nowhere. Pumba needs to start singing now. Skewmon blocking some damage from Patrick is nice, but it's all for the turret. Send him away with Cap's ult to use well as LeBron. A good dodge as well because the turret was going to kill it with that two-shot barrage.
G2 pushing G2, maybe looking for a chance to pounce. Cap's recalling, Dragon being taken would be Soul, and then Talia will look to teleport topside.
Well, I mean, Baron's not going down quick enough, so for Rogue, this could be so dangerous. Soul gone, Hans Armor might not be in, but he's going to be chasing down. Here's everyone jumping in. Pantheon Alden, Baron exposed and stolen! In front of Skewmon, Marang stands no chance. A spear over the wall as well. Through the heart of Rogue, they run, but how far?
Well, we'll see. Caps doesn't have the wall anymore, but wants to put down that E. Does get hooked onto it.
And here comes the hero's entrance as well. Broken Blade, you're very much a hero here as Larson tried to separate the pack, but G2 are going to chase him down. Caps is looking for yet another as he wants his first kill of the game, rather, and Broken Blade going to chase down the remnants. That is Adam. This game in the too hard basket. And with longer death time as a base, it's going to be tatters, if not destroyed completely.
It has felt so anti-fun for Rogue to play this game.
Yeah.
G2 have had a stranglehold, and they have not allowed Rogue vision, they have not allowed them team fights, they have not even allowed them the few objectives that they've really headed towards. G2, very clean, very dominant.
On to the Nexus turrets. I mean, Malrang's up in a second, Patrick up in 15. They're going to try anyway, and G2 have the soul, so it might help with the low health bars as Adam's ulti did nothing, and Malrang, as he steps up to defend, might be trying to do a little bit more than something as G2 run away. They're not going to take this full 5-on-5. Okay, maybe, you know, like first Baron spawns, you're already 13, 14k up. We had the Genji Hummer life game that was like that as Larson. He's going to get away, but Cap's
I don't know if he is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance, is there? He can do it himself. Skewmon tries to get involved, and with a 4 versus 5 now, Skewmon is now against the wall. Rogue might have an angle, but what angle is there? He's buying so much time. There's a hero's entrance. Skewmon is still alive. In goes Broken Blade, and yeah, Skewmon's going to die. They keep it a little bit competitive, but how do you kill Broken Blade as flying in to save the day as Hans Sama? And we're back to square one. Take a couple of kills to pad the stats. Hans Sama, he's going to end 4 kills up, open Nexus, and at 35 minutes, G2 make that slow burn, simmer out.
If you're a G2 coach, that is exactly what you want to see. Do we have a yes, we do?
Oh my God.
Garen top lane.
You know, we have gone from complete front to back from Rogue, slow scaling, like seeing the Ezreal Azir, this front to back.
Of course, the Ignite on Adam. So pay attention to that.
True. Judgment is starting to build up work as well, as I assume it's first setup as Malrang's flashed on. Twist Advance already used. Caps gets the Shuriken flip, and rather it's just Fan of Knives setting up the passive as well. Malrang in so much trouble. A Bramble smash and sets up to flip back in. Caps with first.
Across the board, BB on the weak side of the map. We've not really in his grasp right now.
Weird when you get stunned, but you still get the Q off, so he just moved. He just did the cha-cha slide to the ward.
Slide. My favorite animation weird pro moment. Season 5 Worlds, Victor versus Darius. I can't remember which matchup it was. Gravity Field, Darius froze Darius midway through ult, which is the stretch frame. So you had a Darius about 3 times as tall as he should have been.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. I'm sure there are pictures of it somewhere.
I mean, janky, like, before I think season 7 or 8,
yeah.
League of Legends, when it had bugs, they were janky. Maybe they still are. Dragon's going to be taken down.
And I mean, the thing is, when you have a heavy melee team, it's hard to use your grubs effectively, especially when now Garen's up to the point where he just wave clears for forever and whatever. Of course, you deny them from the other team, but The big thing is, if Rogue misstep now, and in game 1, they didn't necessarily play the macro out as well in terms of cross-map. Make a simple misstep, a slightly bad TP, and G2 very good at punishing.
And that Riftmaker, he hasn't gone back. He must be sitting on a lot of gold. So I'd assume Riftmaker.
Counter pick in top lane, which I thought Red Side draft was going to be very successful for Rogue, or more successful in that first game. Hasn't led to much value right now. However, BB might have overstayed.
Maybe he can get the wave. Cannon minion is what I'm looking at here, but Adam might have an opportunity. Free ulti. Okay, it's a bait. Adam now the smart one in the books. He picked up his first kill in the game. Cap's going to be trading with topside turret.
Yeah, the leap strike cancelled out, well played by Execute. However, on the other side, the cross map comes through. 6 scrubs means that two attempts at the tap. Caps will take that one. 425 gold, as if you weren't fed enough already. Has lead them through to a win, but worth mentioning it all the same. If he walks into Adam, it's a Q.
Oh, against Broken Blade, he's still a bit more confident. He's got Ignite now as well. Good little counter strike, and Execute coming in means we're going to rinse and repeat. Adam flashes down, even under turret. Execute will tank it up. Shattering strike, and another kill. Broken Blade jumps away. Judgment was not available. Let's call it just what it would have been if Adam found kill number 2.
Oh, so close. Adam very, very nearly comping up again. Labrov has the minion taxi.
Yeah, this time, this is going to be an easy kill. Returned over to Execute. Hansama with Labrov's help lands on the CC. Adam's just trying to get something back. He's got Demacia Injustice up and available again to cut through the Unbreakable Will. He needs a bit more damage, but Adam chunked up, slowed down Hansama. Going to poke him to the ground.
Testing this, that's just going to be free mid-turret down. The map's going to open up. G2 get it for free, and they're very happy with that.
And yes, we've got a ward in front of the pit, but it's a mountain rift. There's obstacles in the way. Herald that Nymera was talking about before going to be used against 6 scrub comp, and they're going to take Dragon. Larson's up there having a tea party with the minions. Mid-turret's gone. Dragon's about to drop as well because no one can step up to Caps unless it's 3 members.
But what is Rogue going to do about this? You have just lost 2 turrets, a Dragon here as well, and what have you gained? A little bit of time farming up all 3 lanes. Okay, that's fine.
That's just a quick rotation of Broken Blade. This is the problem that Jax as well, almost 2 items in the side lane. He's even against the Ignite Garen. The swap again from G2. Can't say how clean it was enough as Adam's just trying to defend here, using Strikebreaker as best he can. The range from G2 being used. Maxwell, no, finally, a fight is there, but Chains of Corruption. Execute's going to get wiped. Larson TPs, but not a moment too late. G2 already away with the play, waiting for the next wave. Caps will zone. Broken down a member.
I mean, casually headbutting out of the combo that Labrov really well played to make sure that the combo from Execute doesn't really pin people in place in the way that he wanted to. And Rogue used to teleport. Now they have to fight in a single direction into this Atakan with Caps waiting in the wings.
And look at that TP as well. Look how deep it is. Caps is coming from behind. Excuse me, Broken Blade. The Jax from downtown, from down away. A flash away from Adam, but the rest of the team are zoned down. It's a sick headbutt as Larson will take the Unbreakable Will, but you got to watch out. Caps in the middle, even though he's low, he'll survive.
No!
He's just that strong, baby. G2, all 5 members stand tall, and while summoners go down, Rogue gets it. It looks like a 5K, but if you look at your clock, you'll notice there is no Rogue on it this game, or at least this series. Atakan down, GA's enabled. Dragon's up in 45, another reset for G2 to test the waters again.
Yeah, and now they can use
You look at Larson as well on this Silas, constantly gapped in lane by Caps. As you look at him onto Malrang, we're going to get a 1v2 eventually, but Malrang, will he survive until then? The all-in with the rest of Rogue, as Caps is probably just bored at this point. He runs in, GA popped, and Larson takes the ulti. But my friends, you look at the rest of the map, mid's going to get pushed in, bots under pressure. Also, you only just took a GA. Caps has teleport to rejoin.
And it's against the 6 scrubs. You commit four people top side, and G2 have 6 scrubs in bot lane and in mid lane. The tower is going to completely go down. G2 are happy losing 1 withdrawal, 1 of that GA from the Voracious Atakan, and they walk away with a better gold lead from it. It's not even like Larson gets to keep the Akali ult for another play if he wanted to teleport. Well, he doesn't have to teleport, but if he wanted to make a play somewhere else on the map.
And look, if there's plays like that again where they think they've caught Caps, he's now got a Seeker's Arm Guard. So if G2 are nearby, that turns into a turn. That turns into a TP play once Broken Blade has that up and available as well. Because as you said, Adam can't join unless he's in the vicinity. Feels like TP this game, I'll be honest, would have obviously done more considering that Ignite has come through once or twice as Larson Chains Corruption sent out. It doesn't get the range and the thumbs are in the air. At least the optimism is high.
I mean, oh, hang on, BB.
He does still have GA, but 200 gold is 200 gold. Counter-Strike is out. It blocks the AD members, so Broken Blade gets to leap over.
And while it's happening again, just look. I mean, G2 are completely fine to just say, okay, we'll push up top lane. We're going into the top side jungle. Rogue are losing vision. I mean, they go on to Jax for so long, they don't get much. He still has the Seekers himself if they'd gotten even more spooky than that. And now they have to walk around the long way. Potentially could have lost it in a time.
Atakan has been done a while ago. The GA's at least expired. I truly wonder if Larssen can win this, but I think the answer is probably no. Double buffs there for Broken Blade. Ulti for ulti. Let's have a go. At least we get to see some action. Larssen slowly getting whittled down, and eventually the Sunder Sky will come back in, give him a bit more leverage. There it is. Larssen heals up with the Kingslayer, but Broken Blade only 1v1. Leprov, go away. No one cares. Leprov! It doesn't count. Broken Blade
HP on the Baron. They really feel like they can force something now.
All right, Execute, show me the best support steal of a Baron I've ever seen. The Ents go out, they slow down, Larssen goes in, but Baron's gone. Now for G2, the fight begins finally, a team fight ensues. We haven't had one of those this game, but Rogue are losing it so handily. Han's flushes the back of the pit, and while Larssen looks to go in to find a target, he's in the middle of three. Hans is dicing, dancing between while the rest of Rogue have already run away. To Larssen's credit, he does get a kill, but Caps is still healthy enough. On top of him, Shuriken Din. Meanwhile, Broken Blade died to Adam, so props to Rogue. Justice. Hell yeah. The most satisfying Garanol.
The dubstep ignite, you just walk up, press ignite, walk away, it's a kill.
Some Garanol's like shake the screen. You know, I think that the god...
Last resistance of Rogue.
Brov waiting in a bush though. Adam probably didn't expect that. But the Brov just disengages and zones off because you look at top, they're going to go for the Tyrannus. There we go. Demazi Justice again. All right, G2. Maybe not as safe as you thought in this game. Broken Blade at half HP. Rogue get another.
Forgets that Alistair ultimate doesn't stop true damage and there's an engage coming through.
Yeah, but there's a Chains of Corruption and Execute's in harm's way. Skewmon taking enough, and now that Nature's Grasp is out with a good Bramble Smash, he disengages but over the wall. Malrang follows up until Broken Blade runs in himself. There's no more justice available as Execute is a free target. Patrick now pounced on as well. The Zonya's coming in handy as Broken Blade meets with Larssen. He's rejoined in with the Scott of Duck mid-air. Broken Blade still wants to take it, but he'll die too. G2 are playing with it while Caps is thinking about his...
That's not a joke anymore.
Yeah, we stop laughing, we start getting concerned, but at least in a turret and top of G2 brings us to the peak of reality, which is that G2 are now going to move to 8K. They've never really let go.
Trade if Rogue want to slow this down, but the Baron is being forced by G2.
G2 are doing this pretty fast. Broken Blade zoning one side, Caps the other. Skewmon ready to turn. Nature's Grasp is sent out, and Adam not going to be caught by it, but you see G2 forget the Baron looking for the fight. Broken Blade jumps in, and Larssen will steal the Unbreakable Will, but a good Shattering Strike set up with the Magnet Storm from Rel. Hunt Summer engaged on the backline by Larssen, but Execute's already dead before they can help out. And once again, the Compass 3. Larssen, it worked last time, but they're stronger now. A double, meanwhile, by Caps and Broken Blade chasing down the final pieces of Rogue. Adam taking enough to deal with Broken Blade, I say that, but over the wall and over again. Adam is running, but he's got no friends. Under this turret, this will be his last call, and Broken Blade, he's going to take care of it all. 16-5 in the end, he might run forever, but G2 with a 2-0 is what you can take away from this perfect ending series.
A little bit long on the time, but never really in question. Rogue were out macroed, and G2, their coaches will be very happy with how clean the closeouts were.
Yes, they will indeed. G2 still on top, still looking good. Here in the LEC spring, 3-0. Not dropping a single game at the start of this all.
Never really in question, was it? Maybe a little bit slow at some moments.
Yep.
Something to tighten up there, but realistically,
LEC, where we were all promised a chaotic bloodbath game between Rogue and G2, but it was actually quite calculated. And what went wrong or right, I guess it depends how you look at it.
I'm so happy you were wrong with the game stat.
I mean, the game was long.
Not as long as you said it was going to be.
I mean, the average game length is, what, 37 minutes? Wasn't that like a 35?
So 2 minutes matter.
I'm just saying that chaos can still happen. It's just game. Don't be game one Andes, as a famous.
We are going to be game one Andes.
You're just doubling down and saying that game 2 is going to be better.
Game 2 will surely be better. Rogue is going to calculate. They picked Azia Ezreal. What can I do against that? It's like the slowest comp in the game.
I mean, we had our G2 Overlords to save us because that comp was great.
Save us?
Yeah, they saved us from a super long, maybe potentially boring. Well, last week was definitely not boring. Slug match, you know, when Azir and Ezreal get a lot of time to scale, at least, you know, we have Pantheon, we have Galio, we have Talia, we have cross-map Fiesta everywhere.
There was actually so many dives well executed in this game. I mean, we chatted a little bit about the Galio coming into the game, and I think the main reason why I think it worked is just because of how it synergizes with this composition.
Yeah.
Pantheon has ulti, Talia has the ulti to set up for the play. There's just a lot of backline threat or single target threat across side lanes that I think G2 did a fantastic job of executing.
And I really like the fact that it allowed them to play macro in a lot more freestyle way, because when you have these many amounts of globals, it's so easy for you to just go and give prio everywhere. It's so easy for you to collapse on lanes. You engage from 2-3 screens away, and no one was safe on the side of Rogue.
Question, if you play against a team with this many globals, then what should you be doing?
Ooh, I mean, that's a good question. Usually, you can stack, so you can play maybe like 4-1, you avoid 1-3-1 setups on a potential side lane. You can also overstack in anticipation of a collapse, so if you send your Azir off to a side, you can potentially shadow, or you just make sure that if they're going to attack one side, you can cross map. So if your Azir is going to die, you can at the very least get something else on the side of the map. The problem is the moment things start falling apart and you're just trying to catch waves, as you saw in that final clip, they can just tower dive you. And so it then just becomes a reactionary game where you're trying to stem the bleeding as much as you can.
Yeah.
But the ship keeps getting holes and it was sinking fast.
And it rolls perfectly well into my telestrator here, because we're going to have a clip that, if we can bring it up right now, perfectly executes what Vedi was saying. Because Rogue, when you start losing tempo against this team comp that has so much engage from off screen, everything starts going downhill for you. So right now in this setup, we can see that G2 has been giving Drake, but they have this inside line on the mid lane. It's so easy for them to go this way, and the fact that they have also access to the jungle over here, it will force this big chunk of members from Rogue to take the long way out, all the way through this bot lane to rejoin their base, because there is no perfect way for them to get numbers advantage. So now G2 makes the perfect play out of this bad play where they give the Drake. They take the inside line to mid lane, drop their wards. Now if we can keep we can pay attention to Labrov here. He's gonna be basing soon to get wards, because what's gonna happen now? A fight's gonna happen. G2 is playing perfectly well here, where they feel like that they dragged Rogue all across the map, that now they have tempo on pretty much anything. They take the inside line in the jungle, and now the jungle is theirs. With this vision control, it's so easy for them to see everywhere Rogue comes from. It's impossible for them to take this route here through the jungle, because G2 has a warded, and we just saw BB there earlier. So now what G2 is saying is that realistically, the only way they can retake this zone is by walking through the bot lane. And now they're pulling this Atakan not to start it and finish it. They're pulling this Atakan to bait the fight. And now when they walk up, when the vision toggle happens now, as you can see, Skewmont pulls it into the brush here, closest to here. And why is this? Because right now, the more you pull Artakan towards the red side map, the more Rogue has to walk through these chokes. And now we can see Caps. Caps is already in position. BB is looking for a flank as well. And now Labrov is actually here from base with wards in case it's a prolonged fight. And now the fight happens. The fight starts. We saw all how it ends. And this is just perfect execution from G2 with control of this much tempo. They have been utilizing tempo to drag Rogue all across the map here and make use of all the tools that they had, because this is where their team comp shines.
Just a fantastic demonstration of the dive. We talked about how impressed we were, and yeah, it did take them a little while to actually close things out. We talked about how the composition made it very difficult just because of the amount of wave clear. But ultimately, I think that it's a well-executed comp, and I kind of want to bring it back to also Skewmont as a player. I think that with him joining the roster, there are obviously a lot of question marks around the direction that G2 is going, but I think that that Pantheon is crucial to the success of this composition. His timing, his target focus, his execution, and I think this was just a fantastic game overall from him.
And in general, when looking at this game, it didn't feel like there were this one or two moments where just the whole game blew like wide open. It was the consistency of Skewmont and the rest of the team working together on finding these holes and finding the tempo and getting these dives and building that gold lead over time.
Exactly, because this G2 team comp does not really excel in team fights. Even though they have won that team fight convincingly, it's just once you get that gold lead, you take away with it. But in reality, it wasn't so easy. So this was the perfect G2 team style, in the sense where